as far as this, and I give myself my own advice every day. I get stressed, I get angry. But one of the biggest things I've learned, especially in COVID, is like the make a list and prioritization of what you're trying to do. When something really makes you mad, write it down, what it was, and then how you responded to it, and then keep doing that throughout the day. And then when you're in bed at night, look through your list and read your response. And now that you have time to think about it, how could I have done it differently? Kind of look at that, and then put them in order of preference, and like pay attention to the top 5, and the rest of them forget about them.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of American Snippets. Once again, my name is Dave Brown. I'm here with my partner and co-host, Barbara Allen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are blessed to have Robert O'Neill on the show again for a second time. And if you've been living under a rock, a former Navy SEAL, Rob O'Neill, was catapulted into the spotlight when his name was leaked as the SEAL who shot Osama bin Laden. And as much as he makes it a point to deflect praise onto every person and team member who made that raid a success, he has become the figurehead of that mission. But today, while he remains engaged with the military community and stays current on global and national events, Rob is more focused on his entrepreneurial path than clinging to his image as a Navy SEAL. He's pulled lessons from his own life and that of his colleagues and uses them to teach leadership and personal development through his books and speaking engagements. He's started new businesses that blend his personal and professional interests, and he's supporting his fellow veterans with his nonprofit as well. And in this episode, Rob holds nothing back when he shares his views on current events, his predictions of being at war with a certain country, and his advice for anyone who is grappling with stress during these difficult times with COVID-19. He talks about the book he co-authored with Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer and what he's doing right now to protect our Navy from a dangerous situation while they're at sea. So without further ado, here is Barbara Allen with Robert O'Neill.
Hey there, welcome back to another episode of American Snippets. I'm really excited to be here again with Rob O'Neill for an encore interview. We had so much fun interviewing you, and your brother stopped in on the interview the last time. It was hilarious and so much fun for us to do. But today we have you all to ourselves, Rob. So thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us.
Of course. Thank you, Barb. It's great to be here again.
I see you. I love seeing that you are still out there pushing forward, doing things your way. And I don't know what it's like to be you. I see all the blend of comments and feedback that you get. It's actually like a sociology experiment for me to go on your page and see how one thing you post triggers such different reactions in people. But you're out there to fill us in a little bit on some of the initiatives that you're doing now. You have new businesses that you're launching. You're paving the entrepreneurial trail another way in some fun ways too. Talk about some of the businesses that you're involved in now. And I know you have a couple that you're really excited about. Yeah,
there's a couple there. And I appreciate you being able to recognize a lot of the tongue-in-cheek stuff that I post. And it depends on which platform. Like if it's Twitter, God forbid,
I stay away from there. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's toxic. It used to be fun, and it used to be a platform where you can follow like your favorite athlete and just see what they're doing. Now you can't talk about, even with Donald Trump being off of Twitter, you can't mention anything without somebody yelling at you about Trump. It's just bizarre. I mean, I go on there to joke with someone and just triggers people offended by every damn thing. We're at a point in life where the truth offends people. It's crazy. And their emotions go different ways, and that's how it is. Instagram now is more fun for me too. You get a hater now and then, but you just get people. The people are on there for a good time. So I like to post stuff, everything from my new beer company. It's actually Armed Forces Brewery. Started off as Seawolf Brewery, which is named after a class of submarine, the Seawolf sub. Navy based because it's out of Annapolis. That's where the Naval Academy is. And that was the influence. But then we decided to get more into, because mine for the Navy was special hops, which I think is hilarious. Very good IPA. I'm an IPA drinker.
That's like so dumb, not like dumb in a bad way, but it's like, so like it actually just made me laugh out loud, like immediately, but go ahead.
And we have a couple other funny play on words beers, but we got the Marine Corps involved. We're going to get every branch, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now Space Force. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's our new thing. And we're just in the stage of getting the word out about Armed Forces Brewery. And then we were getting it in a few stores, a couple of Navy exchanges in Virginia and Maryland. We're moving up to New England, and we're trying to spread out throughout the country. So that's fun.
Can I help you name a Gold Star beer? We think of some sick name for that.
That's a very, very good idea. I don't know why that didn't. That is a brilliant. Okay, we're gonna
do so. Okay, excellent, sure. Excellent. That's gonna be fun.
Seriously, it's a great idea. That's more military involved. That's awesome.
Yeah,
love that idea. Yeah, we're doing this. I'm gonna start. I'm taking. If you see me looking at my phone, I'm just taking notes. That's my new way to do it.
Yes, go on.
So there's that, and then there is the hot sauce, which is awesome. I have a story about when we were in Iraq and Afghanistan. There was a few things to look forward to, but the two most important were FaceTime or Skype with the daughters and both sons. I have daughters, and meals. And so we would always bring hot sauce with us just to get the feeling of home. And one of my favorite companies, I use one of their hot sauces. I can't say it yet because but they heard my story, and I went down to Kansas City, and that's like home of barbecue, as they say, home of the hot sauce and all that stuff, and really good hot sauce. So I sat down with their chefs, and we made one. And we were calling it at first Rob O'Neill's Top Secret Hot Sauce, and I sent it out to like 70 friends, a couple Instagram influencers, and they tried it and it just blew their mind. And we're getting a good response. So we're going to make a second batch, and we're going to put some cool stuff in it, like a coin and some other things, and deliver it in cool packaging. And then I'm going to do like a challenge. It's no joke. It's real.
I was going to say, does it have different levels? Is it like, do you have one flavor or like one level, or is it like different levels of heat?
We have one flavor, and I really like hot sauce. So it's hot, but it's garlicky. It's made with some pretty serious peppers. But it's funny jokes. Like I have a friend of mine who was a former Navy SEAL who texted me yesterday. He said he put too much on his tacos, and he said, "If I had colon cancer, I don't anymore." Which is a funny way to put it. And then there's that. I'm involved with a hand sanitizer company called Dab, which is a non-alcoholic hand sanitizer that lasts, instead of doing the 15-second burn your hands with alcohol. And it lasts 15 seconds, then you're contaminated when you touch something. This one, it lasts for 4 hours to 10 hours. We've tested it up to 4 hours, so it's like wearing invisible gloves. Really good, especially now during the pandemic. It's got a BZK is I didn't invent it. Some scientist did, and he did it 5 years ago before the pandemic. But I saw it, loved it, got involved with that. What made you
love it so much, like hand sanitizer? If I had guessed all the things that you were into, I'd never be like, hand sanitizer, that must be Rob O'Neill.
What really got me was with COVID spreading on Navy ships and Navy submarines.
All right.
Because you're me being Navy, you're forced to live in tight quarters, and like it or not, the Navy's not going to work like that. It would be sad to see. Bottom line is, if they put a huge vat full of alcohol-based hand sanitizer on a ship, like the worst thing that can happen to a ship at sea is a fire, and everyone knows that in the Navy, and that's a bomb, a floating bomb. Okay. Ours you won't burn. It's not alcohol-based. And I was like, if we can help the Navy, especially because when it comes down to it, we're going to need sea power. Even in this politically correct environment, when we fight China, we're going to need the Navy.
When we fight China, we're going back to that one.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I shouldn't be laughing about that, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's the truth too. But because everybody wants to, we'd rather be offended by who gets to use which bathroom as China laughs at us. They're going to, it's coming. So, I think our subs and ships shouldn't be carrying bombs that would, be. So I went down to Mississippi where they're making it, and I tried it. It's not only is it flavorless, I didn't taste it, but it's not poison. It's odorless, and it doesn't dry your hands out. It actually moisturizes them, and it lasts for it's like putting on gloves for 4 hours. It kills stuff on contact. Doesn't hurt you at all.
So is that out now? Is that available?
It's out, now? But we're just having issues with CDC approval. Because, Congress is in bed with Johnson and Johnson, and they don't want the new guy coming in kicking their ass. So, I mean, just it's fun stuff that I've been getting into because I was a public speaker, like you're a public speaker, and that business kind of went under for a while just because no one can get together because we're all afraid of the dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the people that would come to the events, I guess, are more most of the speakers are like, bring it, man. Like, let's go, you know?
I did give a speech in Vegas for a charity recently from my friend Tony La Russa, who is big into rescue animals. And I got on stage and he was like, I know you don't want to, but you have to put the face mask on so you can speak. You know, it's like, that's fine. Just, it felt weird. You know,
you had to speak with the mask on?
Not a mask, but the shield, like the glass shield or the plastic shield.
From stage? Like how close were you?
Well, no, they had everyone social distanced, which I don't think works. And then I'm on stage, 100 feet away, and I'm wearing this mask that fogs up when I get all excited about it. And so it's interesting. Yeah, we need to bring a lot of that back. I'm a believer now that, if you're scared, stay home.
Yeah.
If you're not and you want to be free, it's amazing how many freedoms we'll give up on a whim nowadays.
And shame other people for wanting to have them. Like
that is straight up socialism taking over when your neighbors are telling on you for hugging your family at Thanksgiving, which is nonsense.
For having more than 10 people at your house.
And then how about the police coming in and taking them?
Oh my God.
I had a place, I was staying in New York and we were watching, it was scary because you got cops coming into a house. I'm not making this because too many of the Jewish families were having a big celebration. It's like they're literally knocking on the doors looking for Jews. I'm pretty sure this happened in the past and did not end well.
Yeah, I did see that story. And it's one of those that you're like, really, like, am I seeing this correctly? You know, it takes a lot to get through all the filters in your head because you really just cannot believe that's actually happening.
And we'll do whatever they tell us. People will do whatever they tell us.
If Fauci said to put 5 masks on, I guarantee I'd see people with 5 or maybe even 6 masks because they want to like really please Fauci.
I guarantee somewhere right now, as people are listening to this, there is some jackass at home in their own gym alone working
with their mask.
How about the poor kids in the high school bands that have a mask with a hole so they can play their.
Just saw that. It's like their whole instrument is in a shroud and they just have the little.
Yeah, well, and they've dumbed us. They've dumbed us down completely. We have turned into a nation of complete wimps. It's God bless the people that had trouble in the South with the snowstorm and the ice storms, and it sucks. It sucks, but it's like, don't just sit there and wait for the government to come save you. Actively participate in saving your own life. Like if my choice is dying in bed of cold, I'm not going to lay there and die. I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
But people, it's a victim mentality. And if I could go help, I would. That's why I did that stupid post of me in my ice cold pool with a cigar and a book. It's like, look, it's cold. It's just cold.
Yeah, I did see a lot of stories, and I have friends out in Texas, and they're telling me stories of how people are really stepping forward to help one another out. You know, like literally their pipes are just not built to withstand those temperatures, right? So there's nothing you can do. So people's houses are being destroyed. And I have heard a lot of stories about people stepping forward to help. And then,
and I'm not saying this the way it normally sounds, but it couldn't have happened to a better group of Americans because Texans will step up. I love Texans.
They're badass. They're going to be like, you know what?
I'm not going to make light of it. I know if you're in an apartment building and everything freezes, no water, then the water turns on and everything's contaminated. It's like, man, I mean, but they do step up. And again, though, it's one of those things where I'm a big believer in preparation vice over planning. And it's like, think about everyone making fun of the doomsday preppers.
I know they look like geniuses now, right?
One of the generators and the food that lasts 10 years. Maybe, it's one of those things where it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah, I tell you what. And so here we live in New York, not the city, but we're like 80 miles north of Manhattan, I guess. So we're really under the regime of Cuomo, who's totally batshit crazy, right? And what he's doing to the state. And we got AOC and we got Schumer. It's like, we don't know. Every day we get up, I'm like, oh my God, what are they coming for now? How much more do I have to pay? What am I going to be able to do? And so we're seeing New Yorkers in particular really start to say, okay, we weren't really paying attention. None of us imagined any of this crap would happen, right? So now it's like just filtering down. Okay, we understand it's happening. We're accepting. We're seeing New Yorkers get creative now. Try to find ways to be, more people are getting generators. We're getting pistol permits by the boatload coming in, and people. So better late than never, I guess. But people are really waking up, and not in the most obnoxious woke sense that all the crazy people. There you go.
Yes. I got this from my friend Piers Morgan, who wrote I'll plug his book.
I was going to ask you about that. I saw you posted it, and I was going to ask you, what is it about that book, Wake Up, that?
Well, because Piers Morgan is a classic liberal, and classic liberals are awesome. It's the fanatics that hijack the left. And so Piers is like, he's his version of left is so far right now. It's crazy. And he just writes stories about the stuff he saw here when he was at CNN, the stuff he sees now with Good Morning Britain over in the UK. And it's a sensible book. I mean, I'd rather have an audio book than read a book, but I read his book just sitting there in a day and a half.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's the same thing with the woke society, how wokeness is killing everybody.
No crap. Did you see the stuff at Coca-Cola? What they're what do you
I was like, well, what are they going to do with vanilla Coke? I like that.
That's a good one, Rob. Maybe you should ask them. But yeah, I saw you posted.
I know it's a good one. I have good ones, and I really have piped down on social media because everyone gets offended. That's just a good joke right there. But
it is just a good
if you tweet it, I'm sure someone will fire me.
All right. Well, I'll tweet it because nobody gives a shit about what I tweet. Well, I don't even tweet. I'll tag you in it though. Yeah. But yeah, I did see that post about that book, and you got me. I'm going to go online and order
I highly
that.
recommend the book. It makes so much sense, and it actually makes you realize that the moderate left and the moderate right have so much in common. That's how it used to be with the left and the right. Like, whatever, we can still get in a room and we can negotiate this. Now it's just like, hey, we really should consider helping Americans with this before we let all these migrants in getting.
Well, then you're just an asshole if you say.
Then you're a racist.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, well, hold the phone here.
Yeah.
And it's so bad now too that if someone calls you a racist, you're a racist. It's like you can't even defend yourself.
No, when you do try to explain why you're not, they say things like, "It's so cute that you don't see it," and then you really just want to like.
Well, the one too that bothers me is that you have the Slackster coffee house misanthrope white guy with a scarf and a bad mustache who's yelling at the black man, telling him he's let his race down because he's a conservative. It's like, what?
I don't know what has gone into.
Wake Up's a good book. I'm plugging it for sure.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
And I actually emailed Piers the other day because there's someone mentioned him running for prime minister of the UK, and so I hit him up. I was like, dude, if you need like a secretary of defense, I'll move to London. I don't know. I got
no, you can't move. We want you here, Rob. Why don't you run for something here?
Oh, I'll help people, but I'm not putting my family through the political bullshit that happens.
I think your family's been through their fair share. Heat for this country.
Here's what's scary is if I did run for Senate, which I've been asked to do, I would run as a Democrat because I can say anything I want.
This is true. This is true.
Look the difference between Ted Cruz going to Cancun and Governor Cuomo being basically responsible for the death of thousands of people. They're yelling at Cancun Cruz. Ooh, write that one down too. That's good.
Cancun Cruz. Yeah, I'm going to say he probably wasn't really thinking about all the repercussions of the image of a trip like that.
No,
but
no one was planning on that weather. And he had the vacation, whatever. But the big question is, who leaked his itinerary?
Yeah, and obviously, well, once that person gets found, probably the left will name like a gym after them or something, right? Like they'll love it. Or
there's a group of them out there that find itineraries. I've run into them before.
Oh my God!
Yeah, like
that's just insane.
Yeah.
Insanity. All right. So I'll pick up that book by Piers Morgan. Did you see he did a series where he interviewed serial killers? That was a great one. That was a great one. Yeah. All right. And then speaking of books, I know you've co-authored one again recently here with Dakota Meyer. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah. The Way Forward is a book that hopefully will come out in June. That's our planned publishing date. So you can find it like on Amazon or at my website, robertjoneil.com. I believe. If not, I'll put it up. And anything Dakota Meyer's been posting about it. We're going to be active with that. I just said June, hopefully, because we did do the right thing and submit it to the Department of Defense, which again, that's purely political. It depends on how much they like you and how much you've pissed them off on social media, because there's going to be one person reading your book. The good news is we've both written books. I wrote The Operator, that was the first one about the Bin Laden raid that was approved by the Pentagon and all the agencies. And then Dakota wrote Into the Fire, approved. So, I mean, hopefully we're not saying anything new and it's not a war book. All it is it's a self-help book, kind of like it's a combination of a couple war stories, some cool stories, but what next? What do you do now? And how do you get through times like this? Because Dakota being a Marine from Kentucky, and all of a sudden, he's in the Kanjagal Valley and he's in hand-to-hand combat with some of the most grotesque people on the planet. I'm from Butte, Montana, became a SEAL, ended up killing Bin Laden. And now, as opposed to being a Marine and a SEAL, now we're kind of thrust into the limelight. And just the lessons that we've learned in combat, in relationships, in the military, in combat, and then the transition. It's pretty much relatable for everything, because it doesn't matter if you're, it doesn't matter if you're the CEO of a company, you've had your first day somewhere.
Yeah.
And everyone feels the same thing, a little bit of nerves. Like joining the military, I guarantee every single person who joined the military on the very first day in boot camp or at the academy, plebe summer or whatever, they all said, what the fuck did I just do? What decision did I make? Why did I do this? And everyone's been there, but it's like being a freshman walking down senior hall in high school, scariest moment of your life, but you get used to it.
Yeah.
And then that's your bubble, that's your life forever, but then you move on. And then college, oh my God, I'm in college, but then you move on. And so if even people in the military, you got guys that retire with 20 years that are 39 years old. 39 is a baby. And now what next? So it's kind of a self-help book with a lot of comedy. Like some of the best comedy comes out of the darkest times. And so
I could not agree more. Yes.
And also most of us are crazy. It doesn't have to be combat to give you a very, very traumatic experience that affects you. And the further you get away from trauma, and you know this as well as anybody, the further you get away, the harder it is to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And so little things like it's okay to ask for help. Like if you're in a room full of people with a professor speaking who doesn't understand, everyone looks around, but nobody wants to say it. But now just hey, I don't get it. But what part don't you get? All of it. Explain it again. It's okay to ask questions.
Yeah. I guess that's a fine line, right? On the one hand, you don't want to be the one that everyone's like, would you just shut up already? Like, just to ask the dumbest questions. But on the other hand, odds are when you're if you're not understanding something, at least one other person in the room isn't either, but they don't have the courage to raise their hand. And probably someone's like, oh, thank God, Rob just raised his hand and asked that, because I don't know what.
I didn't get it. And it's also funny to be on the opposite end, because I remember in high school and in my 1 year of college, that it was always funny to crack a joke at someone that's teaching. And then I didn't understand why they got so mad. But then now if I'm teaching a class, it's like, dude, shut up. Like I'm working here and that was funny. I appreciate it, but
I'm in place. Well, what are you teaching classes on?
I do stuff on leadership, team building, the same thing as the book, How to Move Forward. I'm getting into more stuff now. Like I get requests to do some shooting classes and then a workout, stuff like that. And I'm kind of like, look, okay, I was a Navy SEAL, but I'm pushing 45 and I'm broken from years of everything. Yeah. So I'm not putting you through a SEAL training workout. Like we might stretch a little, do some Pilates. Don't expect me to get out there and lead you through 1,000 push-ups. We do have guys out there like Ray Kerr.
I was just going to say, that's what you made me think of, Ray and Bedros right there.
Yeah, but see, as far as physical ability, we have our 1%, our 1%ers, and they're out there, guys that can do everything all the time. But most guys are normal. At this age, it'll kill you. So, I'll hop on and do a couple with them, but I'm not doing 1,000 in an hour. Yeah,
it's funny how you almost get typecast, right? Like if someone plays a role in a movie, then that's what you are. And I mean, there's part of you that's going to be typecast as that SEAL. Like,
well, that's what people want to see in the movies, and it's even the stuff on Instagram. Now that the war's over, everyone's a war fighter. Everyone's a hero. It's like you always see those shirts like I like to kick indoors and shoot people in the face, and I'm always like, no, you don't. Because you've never done it. Knock it off. I didn't know how many of my friends were war heroes I didn't know how many of my friends had private jets until I got on Instagram. It's amazing.
It is amazing. And how come they're not inviting you to fly with them?
No, they don't have.
I know. I'm just kidding. All right. So I know that some of the things you give talks on are risk assessment and stress management. With so many people in this country stressed out to the max, and then a lot of people having to take risks. to adapt to their businesses closing. People are taking entrepreneurial risks to adjust. What are some things some of those lessons that from your talks that you can offer here to people who are stressed out because of COVID, politics, whatever it is, like how to manage that stress, and B, the risk assessment before you leap into that entrepreneurial path to adapt for maybe you lost your job or whatever it is?
Well, as far as this, and I give myself my own advice every day. I get stressed, I get angry. But one of the biggest things I've learned, especially in COVID, is like to make a list and prioritization of what you're trying to do. When something really makes you mad, write it down, what it was, and then how you responded to it, and then keep doing that throughout the day. And then when you're in bed at night, look through your list and read your response. And now that you have time to think about it, how could I have done it differently? Kind of look at that, and then put them in order of preference, and like pay attention to the top 5, and the rest of them forget about them. And it's like the email that you haven't answered in 2 weeks, delete it. It's not important. It's the whole, everything's chaotic when it's all out there, but once you prioritize it and make a list, keeping it simple, that helps.
Excellent.
And again, it's tough now because last year proved that most of the stuff you worry about never happens anyway. And it's the thing that hits you on a Thursday night that really turns everything upside down. Like, March something or February, whatever, and we got hit with COVID. Now we're in quarantine. That's when you need your structure. And I think the most important thing in the morning is getting the blood flowing, doing 15 minutes of something. Because get up and air squats and burpees. How many can you do in 15 minutes, and how much rest do you need there, and log that, and how do I get better at not needing to rest? Just getting the blood flowing and all that helps a lot. And I found that if I don't do that in the morning, if I push it, I'll work out in the afternoon. It doesn't happen. So
it doesn't help you in the afternoon?
No,
or it doesn't happen.
Well, because it's also cool to get up, get coffee, and read the headlines. But if you keep doing that, you're just gonna. Well, I'll just do the workout tomorrow.
Yeah. It's easier to
routine. And then the entrepreneurial stuff, like I wish I would have invested in Zoom a year ago.
Right.
But there's stuff out there, and I mean, it's gonna come back. It's got to come back, and you're seeing now that a lot of the experts are saying, well, it could be herd immunity by April. But then you got Fauci saying it could be triple mask in 2022.
Yeah, I just saw that today. I didn't see the triple mask stuff, but I saw him saying we're still wearing masks in 2022. But he also did say it might be safe to hug your family now if you're all vaccinated. So just in case you've been holding back, Rob.
No. But I mean, look at Florida. Florida's wide open.
Yes, I'm going there Friday.
I'm convinced that some people are getting a kick out of this, seeing how far they can push people.
It does seem like that, right? Like,
it's like 2020 was bad because you got quarantine and then the murder hornet. But now 2021 is like, okay, triple mask and anal swabs might work better. It's like, what are you talking about?
I know. And it's like they're playing a drinking game. Like, I'm going to get this state to do that, like drink, and like,
well, seriously. Yeah. And if you notice, all these people making all these ridiculous laws and mandates have not missed a paycheck yet.
Exactly. And then they have, we've been called, or I've been called in particular, all selfish when I'm like, businesses need to open. People are losing their livelihoods, their families. And then you get called selfish because you care more about a business than somebody's life, and it just goes on and on and on.
The crippling of the economy is a lot worse than the pandemic. And you got to, and we're also at an age where you don't know who's telling you the truth.
Right.
Like, I mean, I haven't lived other people's lives, but I haven't seen people dropping dead and turning into zombies in the street either. I did notice that the flu deaths and heart disease have gone down to about 0.5%.
Yes, it's a miracle. It's a miracle, Rob.
Yeah, we cured the flu, but we won't even admit who did it. It's like you don't say China virus because you're a racist or whatever it is.
Wuhan, yeah. And I think, was it Dave that told me that we're funding, Dave, what did you say? We're funding the Wuhan Lab now?
At the lab, yeah. Mm-hmm. We're giving money to everybody. We give money to PAC. We give money to everybody.
We give money to everybody.
You're, without question, the nicest superpower in world history.
We are pretty nice, right? We're nice people.
We could take over everything. Like even Canada could be America's hat. We don't do it.
Canada's going to love you now. All right. So let me ask.
I love Canada.
Let me ask you, what is your opinion on this first month we've got through of the new regime here in this country, Biden's presidency,
Well, I mean,
Kamala's presidency, whatever
he
you want to
can
call
just
it?
sit there and sign blank pieces of paper like he's doing, not knowing what the hell he's signing, and the puppet masters are writing out 50 executive orders. I mean, shit, let's just have a king again. We never had a king, but we sort of did with the UK, with the England. But I mean, it's just so shady with 84 million votes, most in history, and then Kamala Harris goes home and there's 2 people outside waving. It's like, really, did something go on here? And I mean, even other countries are saying he's cognitively deficient. And and I watch him, I'm an American. I really want the country to succeed, but I watch him up there. He's reading words on a teleprompter. He doesn't even really understand what he's reading.
Yeah. And he said things before after. He's like, I have no idea what I just signed. Like he said that into the microphone on like a hot mic moment.
I'd love to know who's writing the executive orders.
Anybody's guess, right? But that was my thought. My thought is that there's a whole lot of shit going on that we have no idea about, but not much of it is good. But I want to believe differently, right? Like, so,
I really want to succeed. I don't think shutting down the Keystone Pipeline on the first day was a great idea because it's greener than anything. And that's not the only pipeline we have. And we're still going to pump the same amount of oil, but we're just going to truck and train it.
And now we're going to truck it, yes, and expend all that fuel.
Well,
and energy.
There's big time like Warren Buffett's out there who own the train, so he's getting a kickback or whatever. And it does more damage for the environment than. But they hear Keystone, and they've been taught since an early age to get triggered by Keystone.
Right.
And like even the electric cars, like they plug in the electric car. Cool. Well, what's powering the electric car? Well, that building. What's powering the building? Coal.
I know. I know. And so if people would like look beneath the headlight, just peel back. Sometimes you don't even have to peel back many layers. Just peel back the first one. Just like start with the first layer and see where that takes you.
I just wonder what everybody's agenda is. It's got to be personal power for everyone making the decision. Because I mean, a lot of these decisions are nonsensical. The Paris Accord, the Iran deal, the reduction of sanctions on China, giving China access to our power grid. Like, what's this? That's
another thing that I had to read over and over again. And like part of me just can't actually believe that it's real. Like, why, I haven't found any good answer for that. What do you think are some of the biggest issues for average Americans who are, we're small town moms and dads. We got kids in school who are learning things we're not necessarily aware of. They're coming home with these thoughts and ideas, or, we're just trying to get by, right? Paycheck to paycheck Americans. What do you think some of the biggest issues?
It's got to be tough right now to have, to try to homeschool your kids and try to keep a job because your job's probably gone. Your business is closed. Your kids are at home. They're trying to make sure they get taught. And it's, I think the social skills that a lot of kids are losing, like, being in the classroom with other kids, learning how to interact socially. Recess is important for young kids, getting out there, playing sports. Like, think of these seniors. This is their last year to play and all of a sudden they can't play.
And they're losing scholarships and all that.
That's a problem too. And just even the curriculum of what the kids are being taught. I mean, it would be nice to be able to be a parent to sit over their shoulder and see what they're being taught, but you really can't because you're trying to keep a house running. It's a lot of issues. I want to stay positive with everything. People are generally positive, but it's tough with this. I mean, at some point we need to get the country running. Yeah.
But speaking of positive and staying positive, campaign of positivity is what you had posted on Instagram the other day. Is that like a real thing? Or are you starting this like?
I try to be. I mean, I used to get sucked into the Twitter negativity and all that stuff, but now and again, for me, it's more entertainment to see who I can poke. Because I try to be. I mean, I'm a big believer. Even if you're having a really crappy day, try to just smile for 30 seconds. Even if you're having a bad day, it helps you out. And nobody wants to be around a negative Nancy. If you keep positive, again, make your bed in the morning, get a workout, and then try to do some good. And it's, what I wanted to, because just with, I'm fortunate in a place where I live, I can walk to the gym, and that's where I make my videos outside, just walking there. Trying to give people a reason to move forward. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And we're gonna get through. I mean, there's the attitude of we're going to get through this, or from Groundhog Day. What if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today. That crap. No, and it makes me feel better just to talk, not even to people, but give a message to people. I need to do more of that. I kind of slacked off this week, but fixing the website and trying to get the hot sauce going.
Yeah, the hot sauce will be cool. I got a couple of kids too. My sons really love that stuff. So when that's up and running, I'll
to
be
answer
sending
your
it to
question
them.
earlier too, we are going to make 3 types of it. There is going to be eventually a medium and a mild. But the first one, now is like it's really hot. But what makes it great is like if you're dipping a pizza in ranch, you put the hot sauce in the ranch and mix it. Amazing. The hot mayonnaise is outstanding. But I go straight up with the stuff, but it's legit. It's good.
So I think then you need to do an interview with someone where, like that wing show where they're having wings.
I think I'm going to try to get on that. Yeah.
Do you be great on that show? Yeah. The only thing I hate about that show is that I didn't think of it first because it's freaking brilliant. I love it.
Good idea.
It's so great, but they thought of it first. But you could do like one episode with your hot sauce, get some people on, and just for kicks.
Yeah, it'd be good.
You
know who was on there that was incredible was Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah.
He said something along the lines of, I'm not going to change my gesture. And he did it. Like at the end, his mouth moved a little bit. He's an impressive hot sauce eater.
He's got to have a certain amount of discipline, right?
Yeah. He can do anything. He's a marketing genius.
All right. So a few minutes ago or earlier at the top of the interview, you had said, when we fight China, and I made a note to go back to that because I want to heir your thoughts on it.
Well, they need to sustain themselves. They don't care about any emissions, and they're all about spreading. They're building these man-made islands in the South China Sea, and they're spreading it out. They want to keep the Pacific Fleet as close to Hawaii as they can. And I mean, eventually they're going to spread. I don't mean in our lifetime, hopefully, but when they invade, it's going to be the 3 most liberal states in the country, and that's Washington, Oregon, and California. And that'll be easy because a lot of those people just let them in. And I don't see a big invasion, but the issue is now with you see stuff on the border of India, and they've used microwave weapons, which should probably against the Geneva Convention, but weren't around when that happened, where they can cook people from a ridgetop away, and they've done it.
Where conventions and laws are only good for people who abide by them.
We follow them, and it's worse as we make worse rules for ourselves.
Yeah, the criminals love it when new laws and stuff come out.
They totally do.
Yeah.
But
it just got easier.
I think China's our biggest threat, but Russia's not far behind.
Well, China is now playing with the weather too, right? Are other countries doing that? Like China has.
There's stuff going on that I don't even know. Like even right now, the administration makes fun of Space Force, which I mean. It's like they're so progressive, but they can't think past, Space Force. It's like, we're not talking like the Millennium Falcon.
It's not like Chewbacca, right?
No, it's like, what happens? Like, do you like your GPS in your phone? What happens when China blows up our satellites? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a point in combat where it just turns into clicking a switch and everything's turned off. And now we're back to map and compass and hand to hand. So, but we're losing all those because we're dumbed down by technology. I remember growing up with my dad when I was, in the early 90s. And he said, and it sounded ridiculous to me. He said, if there will be a point where you don't even need to know how to figure out the problem, you need to know how to ask the question. I'm like, that's ridiculous. It's like, look at every search engine in the world now.
Yeah.
We can do it. It'll be electronic warfare, magnetic warfare, space warfare. And the only issue is, we, for some reason, as advanced as every country gets, we just can't stop killing each other.
I know.
Bizarre.
I agree. It's like we're addicted to that. And then we're going to have a day where we just go primitive again. That's why all the preppers are looking pretty smart.
They are
right now.
Then the people from other galaxies that are watching us, I don't know if they're laughing or they're afraid of us.
I think both. They're laughing, sort of like laughing like we're the greatest joke of the galaxy, but just like, don't be dumb enough to go down there. If you go down there, you deserve what you get, kind of thing.
So yeah. Well, but how cool was that? Like, we have those people that put that rover on Mars the other day.
That was amazing.
And you see the footage and the audio. Did you hear the Martian wind?
I didn't hear the wind because the one I watched had a voiceover with some guy explaining what you were watching.
The first raw one they put out has, you can just hearing the wind and looking at rocks on Mars.
Yeah. And saying that there used to be water on the planet. So it was once a planet full of water. You look around at Earth, you're like, well, what are you looking at? Is that Earth in 1,000 years or whatever it is?
Who knows? Yeah.
How makes you think.
If they, never say never. What if they create something that can go there and come back? Imagine the minerals they could bring back from Mars.
Imagine how we could just destroy a whole other planet.
Why not? Let's go. Can we go there so we can kill each other over something someone made up?
Yeah, let's do that. Like, let's just expand our killing.
And we still have flat earthers.
Don't go there, because and you're supposed to be kind, right? And talk about, I mean, if somebody literally says to me the earth is flat, what do you do but laugh, right? Like,
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, like offer them some new meds or something, right? This is not the politically correct episode today. We're trying to be
positive. Fine. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, no, we're fine. I don't really worry about that. All right. So before I let you go and back to whoever I see you looking at over the screen, right? I'm sorry.
I'm looking at one of my kids.
Oh, kids. Hello, kids. We'll get your dad back in a second. I know we locked our dogs out. My one son came home from high school. We told him to be quiet. All right. But, we asked, and I asked it on the first time we interview you, but I'm going to ask it again, see how we're saying we're different. We're going to hold it up against it and see if you were lying the first time, right?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So, part of why we started American Snippets was when a couple of years ago, we thought that this country was taking a turn for the worse negatively, right? We thought the divisiveness was at an all-time high then, and we just wanted to be a wave against it. But part of the negativity that we saw was people insisting that the American dream is dead or a myth or is only available. Now we're hearing it's only available for certain classes or colors, and that, one color is suppressing the other and all this stuff, right? So we don't think any of that is true. We think the American dream is alive and well, no matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, and all that. But we also know it's different and unique to everybody. So we'd like to ask you what is your own personal version of the American dream?
Well, the American dream is dead. Why is everyone trying to get here? That's the question, And the people who allowed us against socialism were people who immigrated here from socialist countries. They're getting away from it, trying to come here because, even with the pandemic, this is the greatest country in the world. Once you get back rolling, it's sad to see the pandemic crush so many small businesses, bars, and gyms and stuff like that. But it's going to be available soon. Once we take our liberties back and realize that we can still do stuff, still be entrepreneurship. You can do this. Well, you can for now, better than anywhere. Once they hike the taxes up and all that stuff, that's going to be more. I don't want to get too negative, but once I start worrying,
but being realistic is not being negative. Yeah, go ahead.
I start worrying once people stop trying to get here, and they're coming, and a lot of they're coming. A lot of them, and I don't blame them, coming up through Central America across the border, trying to get a better life. A lot of them are. There's other shady stuff going on there, but we have the ability to take care of people that aren't even citizens, and this is a great country. And the nice thing is, once you get off social media, because it's a different world between social media and the real world. Like,
no,
there are places that do have the complete lockdown and quarantine and drive yourself nuts. But go outside in Tennessee, go outside in Florida, go outside in different places. People are doing the same stuff. The people are optimistic. People are happy. People are generally happy. Like it's fun to bump someone's shopping cart on accident at a Kroger, and you can tell you're both sort of laughing, but behind your stupid mask, you really can't tell. So, but no.
Or when you're going the wrong way against the arrows, and you give each other the nod, like the going the wrong way nod.
I love that. Yeah, the stand here, and it's becoming the norm. That's what's scary.
Yeah,
the stand here, just little sheep, but. I'm optimistic, and I'm gonna keep on keeping on.
Excellent. Who do you want to see run in 2024?
Ron DeSantis, probably Candace Owens or Tim Scott.
In what order? How would you? Who's who?
I think Tim Scott. I like. He's a straight shooter, and he's got a very, very good demeanor. Experience. Ron DeSantis, just because of what he's doing with the freedom. This is your free state. Do what you do, right, and try to deal with it as best you can. And I like Candace Owens because she just, for a number, being an African American woman, extremely smart, competent, conservative, and she's probably the quickest of the three that I mentioned off the cuff as far as legit arguments that she immediately breaks her opponent down to where they have to start calling her names. And once someone starts calling your names, you won.
Yep. So, there's really...
It's a long way out. Who knows I don't know. For all we know, there's going to be Republicans, the Trump party, and Democrats, and then, Hillary Clinton wins.
Shut up, man.
She's going to live to be 150 years old.
I know. The awful people do. Pelosi, too. Who's going to live older? Like, she's going to live for freaking ever. Right. Not that you wish anything bad to happen to them, but they should just go retire somewhere. Like go.
And I'm also a big believer that a lot of these people on Capitol Hill, they say something on television, on social media, and they all go out for cocktails afterwards. So whatever.
Yes, they do. Yes, I believe that. You see them like fist bumping each other afterwards. It's all a big freaking show, and we're just like the audience and the puppets in it. Right.
Class warfare.
Yeah, I know. All right. So there's a couple charities I know that you support or you involve in, or you like to see succeed. Let's go through, name a charity or two. And
my charity is Special Operators Transition Foundation. And I co-founded that right around 2014. And it helps special operators transition to the private sector. Because a lot of the men and women getting out, like I was talking about earlier, you're 35 years old, don't know what to do, don't realize how qualified you are. We put them through a sort of not necessarily an apprenticeship program, but more a mentorship. And then where do you want to live? What do you want to do? Here's the introduction, and then we put them out there. And I've got a lot of great people working that, former special operators doing that, and a lot of fellows. So that's good. I do that one. I actually wearing a shirt right now for it's called the Bone Frog Open. That's run by my buddy Darren McBurnett. He's on Instagram as McTeams, and he's a photographer. He's a photographer, professional skydiver, air photography, rock climber, Navy SEAL, former instructor. And his book is The Uncommon Grits. I can't believe I'm plugging everyone else's books here. But
I got my book here. I'm going to send it to you. It's called Front Toward Enemy, by the way. Every time you wear that shirt, I'm like, oh, look there, Rob. I'm going to tag my book in.
So his Bone Frog is he's a foundation who supports other foundations for military.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then obviously, I do some stuff with Folds of Honor once in a while, but they're getting $1 million checks every week, so they don't need me to plug them too much.
No, they're out there, right? But you know what? A couple of my kids have been scholarship recipients of Folds of Honor.
No, they're incredible.
So I know,
Dan Rooney, who runs,
he's dialed it in, man. He has.
I was so used to calling him Major Dan, and then he gets promoted, so that's Lieutenant Colonel Dan. But he's, and everything is so funny too, because he's a fighter pilot. He's a prorated golfer. And all he needs is a son. He's got 5 daughters. Not that they can't do it, but it's just, something like that. But yeah, so Folds of Honor, great. They've done his foundation is so good. And he just has the Midas touch. Dan Rooney's just salt of the earth. I mean, it's a God-fearing war hero, entrepreneur, philanthropist. Love him too. I wasn't talking down about him. I said he doesn't need much more.
I know you weren't talking down on him. Do we make you nervous, man? You don't have to no disclaimers on this show. We get it.
Fair enough. No.
Yeah, no disclaimers. We know. And I saw him speak once at an event I was at, and then I cornered him afterwards. And I was like, look, my kids are recipients. Thank you so much. And he's sat down and actually hung out and talked with me. He's a cool dude. Yeah. Cool dude. All right. Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. I'm excited to see where you go here in the next few months, especially. Let's get that Gold Star sauce or beer going, Gold Star beer going. Right. We got some obnoxious names for it.
I'm dead serious.
My kids make the worst jokes about that. Not everybody thinks they're funny, but it gets us through. But yeah, thank you again for taking the time to sit with us.
Thanks, Barb. I appreciate it.